Sex is an omnipresent aspect of modern life. It's plastered across news headlines, infiltrates the YouTube videos you click on, and saturates nearly every film or television series you encounter. But have you ever pondered what would happen if you chose to live without sexual intimacy? Would you combust from the tension? Would your health deteriorate? The answer might surprise you, and even if you're oblivious to what you might be missing, your body has its own insights. It's crucial to acknowledge that everyone is different and individual responses to a lack of sexual activity can vary widely. Let's delve into some of the prevalent physical and mental consequences that can arise from a sexless existence. Starting with the physical effects, many misconceptions abound regarding the impact of abstaining from sex on your body. We'll dispel a few myths along the way, but the realities can be quite sobering. For instance, studies have shown that men who engage in regular sexual activity and ejaculate frequently exhibit a reduced risk of prostate cancer. Consequently, a male who never experiences sex might inadvertently face a heightened risk of developing this condition. The rationale for this connection lies in the biological imperative of reproduction. Humans, like all organisms, are evolutionarily wired to procreate. Thus, regardless of personal feelings about sex, your body's primary function leans towards reproduction. Regular ejaculation is necessary for the maintenance of viable sperm. Without it, the male reproductive system can suffer from stagnation, leading to complications. While the exact causes of prostate cancer remain under investigation, there's a consensus that frequent sexual activity correlates with lower cancer risk. Therefore, if a man isn't engaging in sexual intercourse, he should at least consider masturbation, as this can offer some of the same benefits. It's a recurring theme. Self-exploration can mimic certain advantages of sexual activity, though not all. Moving on to females, the implications of a life devoid of sexual encounters can differ. Engaging in sexual activity strengthens the pelvic floor muscles, which are vital for bladder control. Women who abstain from sex may find themselves with weakened pelvic muscles, potentially leading to issues such as urinary incontinence. Sexual activity is a form of exercise for these muscles. Without it, they can atrophy. Interestingly, women can also experience the benefits of pelvic floor strengthening through self-stimulation. It turns out that even the simulation of sexual experiences can prompt the body to reap some of the advantages typically linked with sexual intercourse. Another common issue for women who have never had sex is vaginal dryness, which might lead to discomfort. This can often be addressed through masturbation, which helps in producing natural lubrication. If a person who has never had sex chooses to embark on that journey later in life, they might face certain challenges. The absence of sexual experience could mean that arousal takes longer to initiate, as their body would be encountering unfamiliar sensations. This can create an unexpected delay in the physiological responses necessary for sexual engagement, including lubrication and blood flow. It may seem paradoxical, but the longer an individual goes without sexual experiences, the more time their body might need to adapt to the act. Hormonal levels must adjust, and blood circulation needs to increase in areas that haven't been frequently stimulated. This transition can take time, especially for those who have never had sexual encounters. In both males and females, a lack of sexual activity may correlate with elevated blood pressure. Research has consistently shown that those who engage in regular sexual activity tend to experience lower blood pressure levels. Hence, it's reasonable to infer that individuals who abstain from sex might be at risk for hypertension. The underlying reason appears to stem from the link between sexual activity and decreased stress hormone levels. Higher stress correlates with increased blood pressure. Celibate individuals should actively seek alternative methods to manage their stress levels and blood pressure. While masturbation can provide some relief, other strategies, such as mindfulness and meditation, can also be effective. Given that our bodies have evolved with a natural expectation for sexual release, prolonged abstinence may contribute to health concerns such as hypertension. But there's more to sexual activity than just physical effects. It also plays a significant role in enhancing one's immune system. Research conducted by psychologists Carl Charnetsky and Francis Brennan Jr. indicated a notable correlation between sexual activity and higher levels of immunoglobulin at IgA, an antibody crucial for fending off colds. Participants who engaged in regular sexual activity exhibited elevated IgA levels compared to those who did not. Therefore, individuals who have never experienced sexual intimacy might find themselves more susceptible to illnesses, potentially lacking this immune boost. Interestingly, this immunity boost may be more related to the physical closeness of another person rather than the sexual act itself. Consequently, the immune-enhancing benefits of sex may not be fully replicated through solitary activities like masturbation, which lacks the intimate exchange that occurs between partners. Now, what about the mental ramifications? Does a life without sexual experiences leave individuals more vulnerable to mental health issues? The answer is not definitive. However, it's plausible that those who have never engaged in sexual intimacy could face higher risks for certain psychological challenges. Sexual activity releases hormones that aid in reducing stress levels. While masturbation can achieve similar hormonal releases, the deeper emotional connections fostered through sexual intimacy remain irreplaceable. For individuals who have never had sex, this lack of physical connection could lead to what psychologists term skin hunger or touch starvation. This phenomenon manifests when the absence of physical contact results in negative mental health outcomes. The sensations and intimacy experienced during sexual encounters can't be entirely replicated by mere proximity to others. Without these intimate experiences, individuals may experience feelings of isolation or insecurity, likely stemming from hormonal imbalances triggered by a lack of sexual contact. The chemical shifts that occur in our bodies during sex are not solely about pleasure. They create a deep, intimate bond between individuals. If someone has never experienced this connection, they may feel emotionally deprived, even amidst social settings. Ultimately, evolution plays a role here. Our biology urges us to reproduce. Thus, most individuals are programmed to desire sexual encounters. This biological inclination is often reinforced by the pleasurable physical sensations and mental stimulation that accompany sexual activity. However, for some, the lack of sexual experiences does not lead to adverse effects. Individuals who identify as asexual or possess a lower libido might thrive without sexual intimacy, demonstrating that the human brain is remarkably adaptable. In conclusion, misconceptions abound regarding the impacts of a life devoid of sexual activity. For instance, you might have heard that a woman's vagina could completely close if she abstains from sex, which is a myth. While a less active vagina may have a narrower opening compared to someone more sexually experienced, complete closure is impossible. Moreover, women still produce sex hormones, allowing for the possibility of engaging in sexual activity later in life, despite prior abstinence. Ultimately, every individual's body responds differently to sexual experiences, or the lack thereof. Some may choose to remain celibate yet still lead fulfilling lives, finding alternative ways to address potential downsides such as intimacy deficits. While masturbation can provide numerous benefits akin to sexual activity, certain risks, such as increased prostate cancer risk for men or incontinence for women, may still be present. So what happens to your body if you never engage in sex? The outcome is highly personal, but for many, it could result in physical discomfort and emotional distress, often manifesting as loneliness or heightened stress, even in social settings. The urge for intimacy is hardwired into our DNA, making complete avoidance a challenge for many.